Hey, welcome. So, you're looking to build something really valuable online, something that you actually own from the ground up. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to walk through the complete blueprint for starting a blog in 2026. And I'm not talking about just a hobby. I'm talking about building a genuine digital asset.
Okay, first things first, let's just get this out of the way. You hear it all the time, right? Blogging is dead. People say it's been replaced by TikTok or AI. But honestly, think again. The game isn't over, not by a long shot. The rules have just totally changed. In fact, people are craving real, human connection and deep dives more than ever.
And that's what this is all about, right? Blogging in this completely new era. The old way of doing things, just put up a website and hope people find it, that's long gone. If you want to succeed today, you've got to understand the new rules of the game. Now, here's the crazy part. The biggest challenge we're facing today is also our biggest opportunity. The internet is just flooded with all this generic, kind of robotic AI content, and that creates a massive opening for you. For authentic, human-led blogs. If you can provide real insight, your personality becomes your superpower.
So, how do you actually stand out? How do you prove you're a real person with real knowledge? Well, it all comes down to this one little acronym, EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. This is literally what Google is looking for now, and it's what readers are desperate for. Generic articles just can't compete with this.
All of this points to a really crucial shift in how you need to think about this whole project. You're not just making a website with some articles. You're building a digital asset, something that can grow in value over time, generate income, and, most importantly, something you have 100% ownership over.
Okay, so you've got the right mindset. Let's talk strategy. We're going to focus on laying a super strong foundation by making two key decisions right up front, before you even think about writing a single word. Get these right and everything else gets so much easier. All right, listen up, because this is probably the number one mistake I see new bloggers make. They pick a topic that is just way, way too broad. Starting a blog about fitness or travel, that's like trying to boil the ocean. These aren't niches, they're entire industries. You'd be going up against giant corporations.
So instead of something huge like travel, you create what we call a micro niche, something like solo budget travel for digital nomads over 40. See the difference? Or instead of just fitness, you focus on home workouts for post-injury recovery. You're not trying to talk to everyone. You're talking to a very specific person who has a very specific problem. That's how you get heard.
So how do you find your perfect little micro niche? Well, it's pretty simple. You start by finding that sweet spot where what you're good at, what you love doing, and what people will actually pay for all overlap. Then, just keep drilling down. Get more and more specific. And here's a pro tip. Google your idea. If you see other people running ads or selling stuff, that's a fantastic sign there's money to be made.
Okay, next foundational piece, your digital address. Your domain name is your own little piece of real estate on the internet. And just like in the real world, the address you choose matters a lot. Back in the day, people would cram keywords into their domain names like bestbabystrollers2026.com. But today, you see that and you just know it's going to be some spammy, low-quality site, right? It just kills any trust. The modern way, the 2026 way, is all about building a real brand with a memorable name.
So here are a few simple tips for picking a name that's built to last. Try to keep it pretty short. Make it brandable, something unique. And whenever you can, stick with a .com address. It just has more authority in people's minds. And please, make sure it's easy to spell. If you have to spell it out for someone, it's too complicated.
When you think about a brandable name, think of companies like Google or Zapier or Amazon. None of those names tell you exactly what they do, right? But they are short, they're unique, and they are super memorable. That's what you're aiming for.
All right, your strategy's locked in, you've got your niche and your name. Now we get to the technical part, actually building the thing. And before you get nervous, trust me, this has gotten so much easier. You definitely don't need to be some kind of tech genius anymore.
Before we do anything else, I need you to burn this number into your brain. 2 seconds. That's it. In today's world, that is all the time you get. If your website takes any longer than that to load, a massive chunk of your visitors are just going to hit the back button and they're gone forever. Speed is non-negotiable.
And your website speed? It all starts with your hosting. Look, I get it. We all want to save money. But your hosting is not the place to cheap out. You want to avoid that super cheap shared hosting, where your site is just piled onto a server with hundreds of other sites. Invest a little bit in cloud or managed WordPress hosting. The payoff in speed and user experience is absolutely massive.
Now for the actual platform you're going to build on, let's just make this easy. There's really only one choice if you're serious about building a digital asset: WordPress.org. There's a reason it powers something like 40% of the entire internet. It gives you total control, total ownership, total flexibility.
Now, hold on. This is super important. Do not, I repeat, do not get WordPress.org confused with WordPress.com. They sound the same, but they are completely different. The .com version is for hobbyists. It's super limited. WordPress.org is the real deal. It's the software you host yourself that gives you complete ownership. It is the professional's choice. End of story.
And here's the best part. You might be thinking, oh man, installing this sounds complicated. Nope. The setup is ridiculously easy these days. Once you have your hosting, you just log in, you find the button that says one-click install for WordPress, and you click it. Fill out a couple of details, and boom, your website is live. It seriously takes about 5 minutes.
Okay, you did it. The bones of your digital asset are officially built. The technical foundation is solid. That brings us to our final step, which is designing for the reader, because user experience is absolutely king. This isn't just about making things look pretty, it's about making them work beautifully for your audience.
I want you to forget all about those flashy, complicated designs with stuff flying all over the screen. In 2026, simple wins. The best designs are the ones you don't even notice. The whole point of your design is to make your content incredibly easy and enjoyable to read. The design should serve the content, never the other way around.
So when you're looking for a WordPress theme, think of it like the paint and furniture for your new digital house. Here's your checklist. It must be mobile first. It needs to have clean, easy-to-read fonts. It needs a clear structure with proper headings. And of course, it has to be super lightweight and fast.
And just like that, you've done it. You've picked a winning niche, you've got a brandable name, and you've built a rock-solid, beautifully designed foundation. Your digital asset is officially built, which leads us to the most important question of all. Now, how do you get people to actually come and see it? Well, that's the next adventure.